it is. So for me, he's made a brilliant start. He's not as good as Isak, of course. He's not. He's 4 or 5 years younger than him. But I'm sure Liverpool, when they bought him, are thinking this fella could grow into one of the top strikers in world football. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just really interesting now what Liverpool do in terms of the attacking players that they bring in, because they have to bring attacking players in. But that will do him the world of good, and also give players the confidence, and maybe even supporters the confidence that it's not all about Isak, and if you don't get him, it's the end of the world. You might have someone pretty special up front already.
I know you said they need to bring attacking players in, but you've been saying for a while they need to bring more defenders in at Liverpool. And certainly Liverpool's defence could be questioned for the 2 goals that brought Bournemouth back into it. But I want to focus, before we do that, on Antoine Semenyo and how good he was for both of these goals, Gary.
It was outstanding, and it was down this side of Liverpool, this left. It's a brilliant ball into the box. Semenyo was fantastic in terms of that opposite wide player. You just see him there in the top of the picture. Konate's out of position, he gets caught in that channel. Van Dijk's just a little bit deeper, which isn't usually plays a really high line. He could have stepped up a yard or 2 more, but Semenyo's pace to get into that back post as the opposite wide player is outstanding, and he was fantastic in this game tonight. What a real threat. And Bournemouth deserved it. They did a lot of very good things. I thought when the substitution was made and Endo went to right back, Liverpool really struggled for about 15-20 minutes, and that's when most of the defensive problems came. This is obviously just a big counter-attack.
I mean, that's unbelievable looking at that. I mean, Arne Slot made those changes initially to make sure things like this don't happen. Well, fantastic from Semenyo, but Liverpool have had this problem. You continue. I mean, look how many players there for Liverpool. Maybe 8 players ahead of the ball when you're winning 2-1. I mean, it's that can't happen. It's absolutely shocking at this level. And Semenyo, I mean, to run that far and then get your shot away is brilliant. But where Konate's going, I mean, he had a really, really poor night tonight, the Liverpool centre-back. But and Liverpool supporters in the stadium will be delighted tonight. Singing the Chiesa song. Salah gets the last-minute goal. That is not right. It's not. It's only 1 game into the season. The community shit. I'm telling you, I've watched enough football in my life. This idea that everyone bombs forward, you got all the attacking players on the pitch. It's not for me. I don't like it. At no time last week in the Community Shield did I ever feel Liverpool were in control of the game. You can draw 2-2 with Crystal Palace. That can happen. They're a good Premier League team. But it was how easy it was for Crystal Palace to get at Liverpool. How easy it was tonight. In the first half, Bournemouth should have probably been 2-0 up at one stage. And there's definitely a problem that Arne Slot has to solve, and it's not just about people say, oh, they need a centre-back. A centre-back doesn't fix that. He just takes Konate's place. He doesn't fix that. It's about the makeup of the team. 2 attacking fullbacks. So number 10 now is more interested in getting on the ball than maybe defending like Szoboszlai was last season. So I think if Liverpool continue like that, and that's sort of the Liverpool this season, I don't think Liverpool will win the league.
We may well come back to talk about Liverpool's defence, and more importantly, following that up with swift and correct action, the answer to trying to get this out of the game, at least out of the stadiums.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's the correct way to go about it. I just think back about 4 or 5 weeks ago where Salford City, a club obviously that I part own, there was an incident of racism, and the manager and the players walked off the pitch and didn't finish the last, I think, 7 or 8 minutes of the game. They just walked off and walked in. Now, I'm not saying that should have happened tonight, but we're going to get to a point where I think that players are going to rally round if these incidents keep occurring in stadiums, and they're going to say, no, football's not important tonight, we're going to go off and walk off. And I'm not advocating that, but it's the right thing to do. But that's what the Salford players did that night. They felt very strongly about it, and we supported them. But you can just see the players there, the disappointment, the shock. He refers to obviously the player Semenyo, who goes on to have the most incredible second half after what he's experienced in the first half, which says a lot about him as a personality and the character. And I've spoken about this personally before, where I was witnessing players getting racially abused in stadiums. Ashley Cole famously in the Bernabeu in 2003 for England, and I went after the game and sat next to him, and at that time my response was inadequate. I think back in 2003 I should have been a lot more supportive. I think as a group of players we should have been a lot more supportive. I think now the players are giving support, and they will be obviously rallying around him in that changing room and making sure that he's okay. But I have to say it's despicable. It really is. And enough is enough. I know we've said that for a long time now, but it continues to keep happening.
I noticed on the screens at half-time, just in the two corners over there, they had the number that you can text in the crowd if you hear any racist language, and there is a way for that to be reported. Is this, as well as being dealt with properly by the authorities and having faith in them to deal with it properly, is there an element of self-policing as well, Jamie, in this?
Yeah, I think so. Listen, I think there is a lot of good work that gets done, up and down the country in terms of the football side of it, and I can understand where Adam Smith's coming from, thinking, what more can we do, or what else or these things aren't working. But it's also difficult when you've just got one idiot in a crowd. How would you police that one person in a crowd who, as you said, you just mentioned, the despicable? It makes it difficult, whether that's through the Premier League, the Football League, the FA, the clubs coming together.
They wanted him to be removed from the ground, and they said, well, we have to go through a process. Then the police become involved, and so that the processes were being gone through at the ground.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure if you're talking about that, and then someone getting removed from the ground. I'm not sure what else you can do, whether the fan gets banned for the season or gets banned for life. I totally get that, but in terms of the actual racial abuse, and we're talking about all the good work that we're trying to do, we all know it's completely different than when I first going on the terraces in sort of the mid-80s when I was a 7 or 8 year old kid. But it is very difficult for the clubs or the FA or the Premier League. There's one idiot in a crowd who just comes out with that nonsense.
I think isn't in a way that easier if it's one person?
I think the important thing, Kelly, is it's a criminal offence. This obviously proven to be found guilty, and I think
which is why we need to be
and the consequence
careful
of that.
Around
the consequence of that should mean that person, there is serious consequences for that individual. And I'm not just talking about taking the season ticket off them and stopping them watching Liverpool again. That's an absolute given. They won't step foot in the stadium if it was proved to be correct. But also the fact that, their employer, the people who they work with, their family, this is going to have a knock-on effect, and there needs to be consequence if these type of incidents are reported and they're found to be proved correct. And there needs to be serious consequences.
And Antoine Semenyo tonight in particular, Jermaine, on the back of his new long-term contract.
I thought he was the best player on the pitch. Just everything he did, really, his work rate. I mean, it's so dynamic. We spoke about Bournemouth being good on transitions. I think they've showed that even last season, but he just gets into the area here. It's a good finish. He's so good with both feet. But, here it's just a case of just making the box, getting into those sort of like primed goal-scoring areas, and, it's a good finish. Just got to hit the target there. But, everything he did tonight was brilliant. He was a threat, strong, and he looked like he was the one that was going to make the difference.
Maka, how difficult, I know this starts in the Bournemouth half, is it to carry the ball for this length of the field like Semenyo did here?
To be honest, you're asking the wrong person.
I know, it's easy.
I thought it's very easy. No, I really do think it's very easy. The easiest thing is that no red shirt's going anywhere near him, Steve. He's run 50 yards. With all respect, it's a lovely goal and a great finish. He doesn't do anything. He just runs in a straight line, slows down, puts onto his left foot and smashes it home. So it's not necessarily hard. It looks harder than it was. The one thing I would say is that he signed a new long-term deal. Thankfully for Bournemouth, he signed it because he's probably bumped up his transfer fee a lot more. He's very impressive. He's a great mover. He's got great shape on him, strong.
Yeah.
Someone's going to come for him. That's the only thing for Bournemouth fans. They probably looks dangerous whenever he sees the ball, and with all respect, in a better team he'll look even better. He'd suit Liverpool.
Yeah,
He'd
Michael
suit
said that
Liverpool
on this
down
show last
to the
season
ground.
when the Salah was...
I know we're talking about Isak 150. Well, he could be half the price, and you'd pay it, no problem at all.
So difficult to play against.
So difficult.
With that power, it's so difficult to play against.
Maybe it's just me feeling tired. He ran 75 yards there.
Yeah, well, it's easy for Maka to do. I'd be knackered by the time I did about 40 yards. So it's not easy. You get tired. But he is so direct, so good. He's got such a good temperament as well. As the lad said, 2-footed. I mean, Liverpool needed to change their fullback. And that's a big money signing. Carragher, whether he was on the floor, whether he was in the air, he couldn't deal with him. Then he got a yellow card, and of course Robertson had to come on, but he had the legs to score. Then again late on, score again. I thought Bournemouth were brilliant tonight, and I didn't quite see. Sometimes you see wave of attack from Liverpool in the last 10 minutes. I wasn't quite thinking Liverpool are going to score here, but then the class told eventually.
So this is a story, because just behind us here, Cop End, Federico Carragher had not been on the pitch 7 minutes. He's only played in the Premier League 7 times. What a moment. So this is a story, because just behind us here, Cop End, Federico Carragher had not been on the pitch 7 minutes. He's only played in the Premier League 7 times. What a moment. What a moment to score your first Premier League goal.
Yeah, and weirdly for a very experienced player who's represented his country many times. It was almost a fairy tale moment for him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't take part really last year, and then this one just falls to him. And it is a little bit of fortune how it falls to him, but what is unfortunate is his technique. To lean slightly to the left, slice it with his right foot past the goalkeeper. It was a wonderful finish. And I was absolutely thrilled to bits for him. I really, really was, because he's had it hard over a number of years. And coming to Liverpool, he hasn't played probably as much as he wanted to. He's got his opportunity today, and look at that finish.
That's brilliant. It's almost like he had to change his body shape a little bit, and just like improvise a little bit, and just, it's a fantastic finish. Obviously instinctive in that, but to come on and make an impact like he did, credit to him, because, he didn't play that much last season, but that's all you can do.
Yeah, the way he fell away from the ball as well to give him almost room. You lose a little bit of power on the volley, but when it's that accurate, then it doesn't matter. But just the ball's dropping. If it's too far in front of you, it's very hard to find a place to go. So falling away, giving your body room to swing your leg. What a lovely finish. But he's shown that on numerous occasions throughout his career, just not yet in a red shirt, but that could be a game changer for him.
And you can't keep Mo Salah out of the headlines, as you say at the end, Maka. I mean, opening day he always scores. For the 135th time here at Anfield.
Wow,
he made it 4.
Yeah, and he was the one who's anticipating this clearance, wasn't he, by Endo? Look, you see he's on his way, and then it's him against 4. How on earth he scores? What would the other defenders do? And I will never know. So why doesn't someone go and close the ball down? But they allow him to chop onto his right foot and place it past the keeper. Wonderful goal by Sally, as you said. Can't keep a good man down at all. And he steals the headlines at the end, doesn't he, by getting the 4th? But he should have been stopped defensively.
He just had to score, didn't he?
Had to score.
Chasing lost causes and even getting it there. He had so much to do still. Just get to these positions. I mean, we've seen him do it so many times, and
that's his hunger, Jermaine, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing with his weaker foot. He just scores goals. Opening days of the season, always scores goals, always produces.
It's funny, isn't it? We talk about Wirtz and we talk about Ekitike, and we've talked, and the leading goal scorer we haven't mentioned at all, and then he goes and nicks the headlines right at the end.
And we know he loves records, and as I mentioned at the end there, 187. He's now bang level with Andy Cole, and he's got Wayne Rooney and certainly Harry Kane in his sights, hasn't he?
Well, exactly, and could he get to that by the end of this season? It's not impossible. I mean, he scored 30 goals in the past to get close there to Harry Kane. I mean, it might take him a little bit longer. He signed a new 2-year contract, hasn't he? So you'd think if he stays fit, he's certainly going to go into second. Can he beat Alan Shearer? He'd probably need to sign another contract, I would have thought.
I'm sure he'd be thinking about that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he loves a record, doesn't he?
Yeah, he loves a record. He's a goal scorer. He wants to score goals. He wants to break records. He's all about numbers. But that's amazing. When you look at that list there, it's amazing.
And that's why he signs a 2-year deal. He signs it for this. He hasn't signed it for cash incentives. He wants to play at the highest level. He wants to score goals and he wants to chase down records. And he's certainly doing. If he stays fit, he'll catch Wayne, and he'll catch Wayne, won't he? And he'll catch Harry Kane. No problem at all.
That's all positive. Let me bring you up to date with one negative. We saw the game paused in the first half, right in front of where we were sitting. Actually, this was when the referee Anthony Taylor was informed by the players that there was an alleged racial comment made towards Antoine Semenyo. Obviously, as we saw, the managers and the officials were called across. Anthony Taylor explained that. Semenyo, in the end, was happy for the game to continue. That was Semenyo talking to Arne Slot at full time. And now we have a statement to bring you from the Premier League Match Centre, and this is it. The game between Liverpool and Bournemouth temporarily paused in the first half after a report of a discriminatory abuse from the crowd directed at Bournemouth's Antoine Semenyo. This is in line with the Premier League's on-field anti-discrimination protocol. The incident at Anfield will now be fully investigated. We offer our support to we will continue to work with stakeholders and authorities to ensure our stadiums are as an inclusive and welcoming environment for all. And that was the only sour moment of the night, Jermaine.
Yeah, I mean, the authorities are got to do what they've got to do. For the top of the show, really, with the tributes and everything that we've seen and what's gone on with Liverpool winning the game, which is the most important thing. For one person to do that, you don't want to see it in a game. It's happened too much. But like I said, for the authorities to do what they do and that, but it's disgusting to see it, to be honest. At this stage where we're at now and all the work that's been done, it's disgusting to see that.
We understand that Liverpool fan was notified and ejected at half-time.
Yeah, and rightly so, as Jermaine says. Absolutely no place in the game on what was such a well, an emotional night, a great night in many ways, a reflective night. The last thing that we needed was something like that to happen. But it looks like the authorities have dealt with it quickly. Referee, players, etc., all to be commended, and hopefully the person gets the punishment he deserves.
I was going to say, he won't just be ejected when he was asked to leave. He won't be allowed back in for many years now. So how idiotic can you be on a night like this, when it turned into a 4-2 victory for Liverpool and a thoroughly entertaining game and a wonderful night?
Yeah, and as we mentioned right at the top, one that was a brilliant tribute to Diego Jota. We saw amazing mosaics and tribute beforehand. We mentioned and we talked about Mo Salah there taking it all in, when the cop was singing his song as well tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, amazing before the game, really emotional. That You'll Never Walk Alone was sung with so much passion, and then of course what we expected, the game then took over, concentration, the professional people, but then of course at the end of the game as well, then it's time to ponder, to have some thoughts, to reflect again, and you can see a lot of tears, a lot of emotions around the place. So before and at the end of the game, I think it was a great tribute to Diogo and his brother, and you can see it affected everybody tonight.
And as you said before the game, they were friends, not just teammates. It's been a strain. It's been a strain on these Liverpool players.
It shows there with those pictures there. Mo Salah getting emotional, crying. They've been difficult, the players as well. Like I said, you become a family. You spend so much time together, and these players they've got kids, they've got siblings. To lose someone so close to you is difficult. Everyone's going through the bereavement. And it was hard, but again, the most important thing for these boys to win the game tonight like they did in great fashion, and I'm sure the fans enjoyed it.
And Liverpool have the 3 points, but being ultra critical as Arne Slot is, will he be concerned with the goals they gave away and some of the chances they offered up as well?
Yes, I think it's only natural. He did say that certainly after the Crystal Palace Community Shield game, how they conceded goals against Milan, they conceded goals against Athletic Club, and they conceded goals against Palace. They've done exactly the same tonight. I expect them to get better, but there has to come a point where you stop with the excuses, as in you stop conceding chances, you stop conceding goals, and you can go through the goals tonight, how they conceded, and you can say, we should have done this and we should have done that. They're easy to analyse, but still it happened, and you can't keep having to score 3s and 4s to win games. So it will have to get better and will have to get sorted out. But I expect that to happen. Carragher and Frimpong are new players. Today Endo came on, then Joe Gomez come on. His substitutions have worked out again, haven't they, Arne Slot? They worked out on a number of occasions last year, and they were taking good players off and putting sort of, the sort of second string on, yet they still got the 2 goals and got the victory. So the manager's doing something special, isn't he, with the substitutions, whether he's asking them, whether he's telling them, but he's certainly getting the right results off them.
Yeah, very impressive. I mean, listen, how he's done what he's done in the first season was great and incredible, and he's got a different squad. This is more of an Arne Slot sort of imprint on his squad now. I mean, people are going to... It was still a Jurgen Klopp team, really, wasn't it, last season, that he took over and did fantastically well with, but now he's going to be judged on his signings, which is a different aspect of management that you get judged on. So this is fast becoming his team now. He did have to make some changes because some were forced upon him, but he's picked a few as well that he wanted to bring into the club. So yeah, I mean, it's 10 out of 10 for what he's done so far, but he had a big fright there tonight.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Bournemouth give them a real good game. They wouldn't fancy playing Bournemouth every week.
I think he will bring in a centre defender, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's brought in
the young boy,
but he's still 18, and as I said before the game, and now you can't expect him to come right into a game, not a Premier League game like it was tonight. He would have just froze. So he'll have to bring in an experienced centre defender. That's what I think anyway. I think it'll be criminal not to, after all the forwards that they've bought.
There's still a team to beat for you?
I think so, yeah. I think just in those forward areas, they're so strong. On average, last season they scored 2 goals a game. And me and Maka spoke before. Obviously, you've got to stop conceding, because it's almost like you score 5, we score 6. Can't always approach games like that. But at the same time, in those forward areas, they're so strong. You always fancy Liverpool to win games.
It's a tough start, isn't it, for them? Yeah. I mean, today they might have looked at it and thought this is one of the easy ones, but it wasn't. And then look what's coming.
Look at those next two.
Look what's coming. You know, they may have a little bit of respite with Burnley, but then the Merseyside derby, Palace away, they've already got beat on penalties in the neutral ground, and then Chelsea. I mean, it's a tough start, so they'll be really relieved, let's say, to get the first 3 points on the board.
Crucial for that. Okay, right, we've had some night to starters. Macca, Jermaine, Michael, thank you very much indeed. We're off and running. We've waited 82 days. I know you have